fired up.
Cool.
And
Okay.
just a second. All right, we are recording.
Awesome. Sounds good. So hi, everybody. My name is Leah, and Jared Krog's on the screen, and I'll introduce him here shortly. But Jared and I work at Northwestern Mutual. I specifically lead the talent acquisition efforts out of our Northwestern Mutual Minneapolis office. And tonight we're here to just kind of share with you a little bit about Northwestern Mutual. Jared's going to talk about his story. Jared is a former Army veteran, so I'll introduce him here quickly. But before that, I just want to give you guys a really quick overview about Northwestern Mutual. And some of you might have heard of us before, but we are a Fortune 500 company that provides a wide range of financial services to more than 4.6 million people. We began in Wisconsin in 1857, and today we are one of America's top mutual companies with a unique culture deeply dedicated to helping our clients achieve financial security. Our financial advisors have a wide range of best-in-class product and industry-leading expertise to help our clients at different life stages and different career fields and different financial goals. So some of the services that we offer our clients include financial planning, disability insurance, life insurance, long-term care planning, retirement planning, investment strategies, wealth management, and many, many more. So why are we here today? We're here today because one, we're growing. We're always looking for talented, entrepreneurial-minded individuals who want to make an impact in their community. And we've seen tremendous success in veterans who transition into our career opportunities. So really our goal is mostly just to share with you guys today what a career with Northwestern Mutual looks like. Potentially you have an interest in that type of career. Potentially you have a need to get in touch with one of our advisors. But really we're just trying to get more active in our community. And we thought the veteran space would be a perfect way to kind of dive in. And so with that, I am going to introduce you all to a former Army veteran who's now part of our team at Northwestern Mutual, and that's Jared. So a quick overview on Jared. Jared spent 12 years in the Army and the infantry. He was Airborne Ranger qualified. He was also part of 2 overseas deployments in Afghanistan and Kosovo. Jared went back to school in 2010 at St. Cloud State, where he actually interned with Northwestern Mutual. And in 2012 to 2013, he was the top intern in the nation with Northwestern Mutual. Upon graduation, he started his full-time career with Northwestern Mutual in St. Cloud and moved down to Minneapolis in 2015, where he's been here building his practice ever since. So today, Jared's going to tell you a little bit more about his story, his experience transitioning into the financial advising industry upon being active in the Army, and really just be a resource for you guys to ask any questions about what a career with us might look like. So without any further ado, I'm going to pass it over to Jared, and then we'll have some time for a Q&A afterwards, and hope to help get you guys connected in some way. So yeah, Jared, you want to take it over?
Yeah, excuse me. Thank you, Leah. So I burned in. It came in pretty hot here today. So I do have another obligation at 6 o'clock. So that's kind of my no later than time. I don't know if this goes that long, or if we lead up to it, if someone could just tap me, or I don't know how we do this on Zoom, but let me know that we're nearing 6 o'clock so I'm not late. But thank you all. I don't know a whole lot about the organization, so I'm eager to kind of, I'm listening and I'm hearing, some things. First off, Aaron, congrats on your second interview. That's big.
Thanks.
And really cool to hear about stuff that Anderson Window's doing and what the city of Minneapolis is really growing and kind of latching on to veterans for. So I just love to ask is I'll share my story with you guys. And excuse me if I say you guys, I'm making that very general. So everybody, but if you have questions or anything specific you want me to make sure that I talk about, so that way you get the most out of this, please, I've got the comments up in the chat. By all means, type away and I'll try to answer it as I go. Is that fair? All right. Well, as Leah said, I served 12 years in the Army, as well as the Minnesota National Guard. I did, like she said, two tours, one to Afghanistan and the other one actually to Kosovo. But no pun on Leah for botching that. She probably wasn't even born when the genocide happened in Kosovo. But if you guys wouldn't do me a favor, just maybe jot down in the chat as I go what your service was. I'm a huge proponent of veterans. As we got my practice started, I made it a very point. I actually got my start working with a lot of veterans and helping with, everything from insurance planning to their investment planning to, what I call phase 2 of life as they ETS'd either out and into the civilian world, helped clients navigate because being an infantry guy, I stumbled and fell along the way trying to figure out the GI Bill as I went back to school. But I did graduate from the St. Cloud State University, and that's really kind of where my story begins with Northwestern Mutual. So what I always like to share with people is when I got out of the Army and went back to college, I just assumed I would get a degree, I'd become a police officer. In my mind, I had this roadblock that the only thing I could do since I jumped out of airplanes and shot guns was just go become a cop. And the reality is there's so many career opportunities that are out there where as an enlisted soldier, maybe I just wasn't searching for those resources and definitely wasn't being recruited for them. So my best friend is actually deployed right now to Africa with 2 of the 135 Infantry Battalion out of the Minnesota National Guard. And he met with a financial advisor in St. Cloud, Minnesota. And by conversation, they brought my name up and Joe introduced me to Alex. So Alex became my financial advisor while I was transitioning into the civilian life and even on the tail end of my time in the National Guard. And he would help me with, my investment planning, my insurance planning, and over time just kind of really became a really good friend. We would lift weights together, we'd go to happy hours together. And one day we were doing an annual review meeting after I went back to school, and I was actually working for an exterior company. And I was basically storm chasing, trying to get, damages from hail and storms paid for by insurance companies for people. And he was just asking me how it was going. And I said, I thought this was going to be an awesome, college, type job. I'd work in the summers and I'd go to school in the fall and winter. And turns out I was chasing checks all year long. And I was working basically every evening and every weekend because that was when my spare time was. So Alex actually offered me an internship opportunity to come and interview for it. And, I kind of joked at Alex. I was like, I don't know if you get this, I got to become a cop. It's like predestined, right? Being, Norwegian and infantry guy, I'm too dumb to do anything else. And, he kind of talked me into it, kept explaining it to me. And I went in for an interview, and through the interview process, what I found is that, we as veterans, sometimes maybe we don't know it or we're not aware of it maybe. The military offers us a lot of skills that, you just pick up on accident because you're kind of told to do so. That point and shoot mentality, I joke, the same way I got through Ranger School is the same way I became successful in this business, by just kind of being too dumb to quit and just keep showing up. And as I started going through the interview process, what I found is, there's a work ethic, there's a discipline, there's a sense of, not necessarily just the chain of command, the hierarchy, but being, very understanding on how to, deal with people and how to, take things you might not necessarily want to do and turn them into something productive for the betterment of the organization. So I really took a lot of the skills that I gained from the Army and I kind of put them to work. And as Leah mentioned, in 2012, 2013, in the summer, I became the #1 intern in the nation. And it was at that point where it really dawned on me that this was something I was passionate about. I was passionate about the impact I was making on people. I was passionate about being my own business owner, about being a sole proprietor, of starting a practice, and really getting the opportunity to see bigger, to be around people that help me, grow my emotional intelligence and help me, bring what I thought, was the only skills I had were pointing and shooting, to being able to solve complex estate plan problems for people as, a 28-year-old man who's got literally, next to no experience in the financial planning world. And, what Northwestern Mutual really did for me was it replaced that tribe mentality that I really had when I was in the military, right? So getting out, that was one of the things I struggled with, was I didn't see everybody every day, right? You weren't able to connect with people on that level. as all of you, I'm sure on here understand, there's just a different sort of wiring that we get connected to when we meet, whether we know each other, don't know each other. And that's what I was really missing. And so I found that, when I got into this business, I got into it for myself, but not by myself. And that's kind of what I loved about it. I relate it to either, the military or maybe like a sport like wrestling or, swimming, where you still have a team, but you're trying to compete against yourself every day while also being pushed by other people around you to help you grow. So fast forward, we'll go out now. I've started my 9th year here in February this last year. And over the last 2 years, we've had some of our biggest growth by growing by over 50% per year. And it's not a testament to me being better than anybody else. It's a testament to the people around me being better than me and helping elevate me. That I don't know if we have anyone here who's in the Navy, but I like the saying, rising tides raise all ships. Now, I don't know if that's true because I've never actually been in rising tides to see other ships, but I guess I can understand it from a standpoint. So that's my story. Some of the things that we really look for as we're out in the veteran community is that the similar skill sets. It's people that are willing to show up and work. Because when you start your own business as a financial advisor, nobody makes sure you're doing what you're supposed to do. So I think whether it's here at Northwestern Mutual with Excel, Anderson Windows, I think that aspect of showing up and doing your job, right, is something that plays to a big picture, much further up than we understand. But I'd like to just kind of to pump the brakes here and just open it up to see if anybody has any specific questions, whether it's about the career, about my experience. Just want to give me a hard time for being in the Army and not in the Air Force. I'm open to everything. I got thick skin.
Hi, Jared. It's Rebecca.
Hi, Rebecca.
Hi, nice to meet you. I'm glad you're here. So I'm a Navy vet, and I can tell you for sure that rising tides do raise ships. I've been on many, many ships, and I've been out to sea. And yes, I've been on 25-foot seas. And yeah, I can tell you honestly, that is true.
Well, I will tell you, that scares the heck out of me just hearing that.
Oh, no, it's fun.
I'm 5'9", 225. I feel like if I fell off a ship, I would literally sink. So, well, thank you for being on here. I'd be curious, to kind of ask the group, is everybody here in careers? Is everybody established?
It's about roughly 50-50. We got people that are looking and people that are here to coach and help.
Yeah. I ran our internship for a while. I did recruit a lot of college interns. I had the luxury of developing, a number 5 intern in the nation. And one of the things that, I take a lot of pride and value in is, as I'm hearing you guys kind of talk about these questions about how to interview and things like that. I love that aspect of getting into the corporate or business world to be able to figure out how to get a leg up. If you guys have any questions on that, we can go ahead and do that too. Otherwise, if you guys want to tell me to pound sand and wrap it up, we can get you guys back to the rest of your meetings too.
So I have
This is Mike.
Go ahead, Mike. Go ahead.
I had a quick question too, kind of like a lot of companies have employee resource groups or veterans groups. Does Northwest Mutual have one, or?
We do. We do have groups at our home office. And so we don't have anything strategically set up here in Minneapolis in our office alone. But what some of us who are veterans, there's a handful of us, we try to connect at least quarterly to kind of stay kind of linked together to keep sharing ideas. I probably get a phone call 2 to 3 times a week from someone who's either meeting with someone who is a veteran to help them with their financial planning to make sure that, they're understanding what's going on, or vice versa. People who are in the Navy, one of my really good buddies, his name's Chris Davis. he's in our Edina office. He's still in the Navy Reserves, but he is a pilot, and it's a different world when you're talking to pilots than when you're talking to intel analysts or infantry guys. So we try to bounce that stuff off each other and help out in that way. But did I answer your question, or were you looking for something more?
No, that's kind of what I was looking for, where it's that connection basically within the company. So make sure you keep it.
And we'll try to do breakfast, or, you know, I'm a bad influence, so I'll try to promote happy hours. But most people are married with kids, so it typically tends to be breakfast.
So this is Alan. I'll ask the elephant in the room question. This is a total straight up sales job, right? And the nature of that question is, realistically, what I'm looking for is, how hard was it to get the business up and launched and started and going? And, you know, like, what were some of the things that you had to learn or change or maybe do differently that you, words of wisdom that you would share with somebody else that would be seriously considering this?
Yeah. So I'll lead into that with saying there are tons of opportunities outside of just being the financial advisor or in that sales role. There's a lot of support roles too. But yes, my specific role was 100%, Jared, you have no salary, you have no ceiling, you go out and you make it what you want. You know, I love that question. I think this goes for really any type of sales role, whether you're, you know, inside sales, outside sales, a financial advisor, a state farm agent. What I really found to be beneficial was I listened. And I know that sounds simplistic, but most organizations already have a structure on how to be successful. And a lot of times when people will start in sales roles, you know, they try to do it their own way, or they try to create, you know, a new wheel and make it something, you know, that's their own. But in reality, you know, one of my big takeaways from the military was, you know, point, shoot close targets first, and then transition from there. So I would take that mindset with me and you just show up. Right. So Alan, to your point, it was hard. There was nothing easy about starting your own business. Just like if you started a construction business, you know, none of your friends are going to knock on the door and go, "Hey, I just saw you, you know, posted your articles on the Minnesota State Commerce page, and I want you to build my house." So you have to go out there and you have to find people that you can add value to. You have to find people that are open to hearing from you. And you know, I alluded to it a little earlier. I'm actually in the process of, now all I can see is Leah's name. I'm in the process of writing memoirs, and I want to write a book, you know, in comparison, emotionally and mentally, Ranger School to starting a financial planning practice. And the title of the book will kind of answer your question, I think, Alan, but the title is going to be Too Dumb to Quit. And, you know, the mentality is, if you just keep showing up, you know, when we were in Ranger School, we got through Hell Week, and my buddy was like, "Dude, we should quit." And I'm like, "Well, we can't now, right? We already made it." And we did that phase after phase till we got to the end. And he's like, "It's a good thing you didn't want to quit," because he was like, "I was ready to go the entire time." So did I answer your question there?
Yep. Yeah. I just wanted, I mean, that's the mindset. And as you mentioned, the company provided a structure. All you need to do is follow it and put your heart into it. So, and I'm supposing, but I guess maybe we'd like to hear from you, is what sort of, I guess, support, or what sort of connections and help, were there mentors specifically that helped you with this transition, or were you just a natural sales guy all along? You were out there in Kosovo helping people realize the error of their ways. You know?
Yeah, no. So I'm actually, I'm more of what I would call an ambivert, where I can be social and extroverted, but I don't gather my energy from that. So I'm naturally more introverted. So what I loved about when I started here was, you know, I just had to get in front of people. And then I would work with another senior advisor who had 10, 20, 30 years, sometimes my senior experience, working with not only people as they developed and grew their wealth, but also as they were transitioning into retirement. And so we would do this platform called Joint Work. And what it would be is, you know, I would set meetings and these senior advisors would come out and I would just absorb everything. I would try to mimic the way they talk, the way they, use their hand gestures, the conceptual ideas that they brought up. And, I'm more of a do it and learn it versus read it and get it figured out guy. So, I had mentors, my advisor, I was in the same office as him. So I really attached with him because we had that relationship. But the best thing, I've heard this for years and I never really understood it, was one of our, senior advisors would say to his kids who are now working at Northwestern Mutual, but if they ever got lost and didn't have a phone and didn't know where they were, that all they had to do was find a Northwestern Mutual office. And that's so true. I'm actually planning trips out to North Carolina, San Diego, Arizona, to go visit friends of mine that I served with, but also while I'm there, give back to their organizations and get the opportunity to pick the brains of some of these advisors that are just on a level that, I'm only imagining at this point.
Nicely done.
Cool. Well, as we kind of wind this down, I don't know if Leah wants to take over and kind of share with you what, we look for, but, I think a couple characteristics that really stand out amongst veterans versus anybody else is there's a level of discipline and respect that just gets carried with you naturally. There's a level of being able to deal with things that most people, who would throw a fit if they spill coffee on their shirt won't ever understand. Whether it's, to Rebecca's point, being in the 25-foot seas. I don't know what that means, but I would imagine that's some pretty big waves, or, if you name it. So, we're really interested if you guys come across people who have an entrepreneurial mindset, are, self-starters, are, influencers, and looking to build something that they can own. One of my greatest, things about Northwestern Mutual that I love, that I hated about the military, was if I was an E4 with somebody else and I did twice the work, we still got paid the same. Versus here, I get out of this what I put into this. And so you really get to separate yourself and alleviate mediocrity out of your own life and try to improve everything. So, Leah?
Yes, thank you, Jared. That was great. I think, you all can hear me, right?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. I think the only thing I would add is I agree with, everything that Jared said. That's definitely, the type of people we look for, but I think it's also important to know that we have other opportunities available that are more support roles, like Jared said, so whether that's part of a team or more of our internal roles on like the marketing team or recruiting, all of those types of opportunities are available as well. So if Jared or myself can be a resource to you guys, I'll put my email in the chat here and would love to stay connected with any of you if you have, a need or a curiosity about any of our career opportunities. Or if you're interested in meeting with an advisor, I can help connect you in that way too. So any way that we can be a resource to you, that's what we're here for. Like I said, I'll pop my email over in the group chat. But before we wrap up, does anybody have any questions for Jared or myself before we let you guys get back to your meeting here?
Can you put the website for the company in the
Oh,
link?
absolutely. Yep, I will do that as well. Thank you, Alan, for having us. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. It was fantastic to have you here.